The Dungeness crab, scientifically known as Metacarcinus magister, is a species of crustacean that is highly prized for its delicious and sweet-tasting meat. These crabs are found along the west coast of North America, with their typical range extending from Alaska's Aleutian Islands all the way down to Point Conception near Santa Barbara, California. Dungeness crabs have a distinctive hard, armored shell and 4 pairs of legs, as well as 2 powerful claws that they use for both defense and tearing apart their prey. These crabs typically grow to around 6-7 inches at their widest point. The life cycle of the Dungeness crab is quite fascinating. Mature female crabs generally molt or shed their shells in the late spring. Immediately after molting, mating occurs as the male crabs are able to detect when the females are ready. The females then store the sperm from the males and can use it to fertilize their eggs up to 2.5 years later. In the winter, the female crabs will bury themselves in the sand to protect their eggs, which hatch in the spring. The young crabs go through several larval stages before settling to the seafloor as juveniles. Dungeness crabs prefer to inhabit areas with sandy bottoms, and can be found from the intertidal zone down to depths of around 300 feet. They require cool water temperatures between 38-65 degrees Fahrenheit and a wide range of salinity levels. Their typical range extends from Alaska to California, but they can occasionally be found as far south as Baja California. The Dungeness crab fishery is one of the most important seafood industries along the west coast of North America. It was first started by San Francisco fishermen in 1848, and by the early 1900s had expanded to match the entire range of the crabs. Today, regulations are in place to only allow the harvest of hard-shelled male crabs that are at least 6 inches wide. Commercial and recreational crabbers use baited wire pots to catch the crabs, which are then cooked and cleaned before being sold. Despite the intensive fishing pressure, the Dungeness crab fishery has remained relatively sustainable over the past several decades. It's estimated that each season, 9-98% of the legal-sized male population is harvested, with an average of 66% being caught. However, the populations seem to be maintaining a stable average catch, likely due to regulations that allow crabs to reach sexual maturity before being harvested. There are some concerns about impacts on other marine species like whales, as well as the issue of ghost fishing from lost crab pots. The Dungeness crab is considered a true delicacy, prized for its delicate, sweet-tasting meat. These crabs have been a traditional food source for indigenous peoples in the region for centuries, and today remain an integral part of the cuisines of California, British Columbia, and the Pacific Northwest. They are often served simply steamed or boiled, with the meat extracted from the shell using crab crackers and forks. The crab fat, a yellow substance found within the shell, is also commonly used in various dishes. While the Dungeness crab fishery remains relatively healthy overall, there are some threats facing these crustaceans. In certain estuarine areas, the crabs can be negatively impacted by low salinity conditions that are lethal to some of their symbiotic organisms. There is also growing concern about the effects of ocean acidification on larval Dungeness crabs. Additionally, entanglement in crab fishing gear has been an issue for some marine mammals like humpback whales. The Dungeness crab is celebrated in various ways across the Pacific Northwest. In 2009, the state of Oregon designated the Dungeness crab as the official state crustacean, recognizing its importance to the state's economy. The annual Dungeness Crab Festival is held each October in Port Angeles, Washington, drawing crowds to enjoy the fresh, local catch. These celebrations highlight the cultural and culinary significance of this iconic West Coast crab.